than Washington. Buffalo, we can work
It's Leslie and Howard Zemsky. Howard just got an appointment from the governor of New York economics. Very unusual time.
Signatures here is right on this sheet. And so you can look at that to see who's included. A few of these are to me, but most of them were bought. And I think they speak for themselves.
Barrett, why did you collect them? What drove you to get this literary autograph collection?
Well, I think I'm a born collector. And I collected signed books for many years and for signed first edition books. And then when I got a few of these to me, I thought, well, you know, why not expand it?
Yeah.
And so I did when I saw something in a magazine that advertised a signed letter. I would apply for it.
I saw the Sam Clemens right away.
Wow.
That's a nice one.
Yeah,
You got Harper Lee up there on the right.
yeah, that's one I prized.
So your literary world clients, Porter, of course. Who else what other work did you do in that area?
Well, I have to look on here to remember.
Wow, you've got them all. Guess the question is, who's not on the list?
Well, but they are going by Truman Capote.
Capote, of course, right.
Was a client of mine. J.P. Dunleavy was.
Okay. Well, and Gore Vidal was
yes.
he was a high school pal, wasn't he?
Yes.
Did you do legal work for him or just know him from school?
Oh, I just knew him from school,
Okay.
but I think I have a letter.
Yeah, he's on the list here.
Yeah.
He was a St. Albans boy.
Right.
First practical trip.
Are we all going to fit? We couldn't fit into the Chief Justice's office.
We stayed in Bedford, so we didn't get the freezing rain, but we had snow.
Yeah, they're going to be fun. Yeah, something.
You might have the best office I've ever been in. Bar none.
Thank you.
It's fantastic. I mean, the combination of being
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Thank you. A great movie star around Washington one day, and I asked him who was his favorite star, and he said, "Oh well, I." Then he thought for a while, and he said, "But that's Sophia Loren."
That didn't answer the question, so.
Good deflection.
I'll think about it.
Papers are great. We'll have to look up the package.
What was this? What was Jennifer's NWA?
That was
Let
against John Roberts.
more people get back in there.
And then they all went over to Taylor.
the client gave you that
Were you here when this thing
without
negotiated?
identifying which of these was me. He was arguing against John Roberts. And I knew that he'd won the case in his opening statement because my client, a single woman, was doing athletics in thousands upon thousands of miles and wanted to represent the property owners and sales. John, first of all, he sent me a postcard. I've been looking for your client, and I haven't.
It would be a federal crime to put it on the courthouse, but it's great. That's really funny.
This is the one where it's not Blair.
So you could have had a judicial appointment many times.
I never wanted it.
Right. Not even a thought?
No. I thought I'd be bored.
Well,
My father loved.
right.
Just loved it. But I was very different from him. And I had a lot of trial experience and appellate experience. And I just couldn't imagine sitting there.
To make it very personal to Barrett Prettyman Jr. We had, when we started the Robert Jackson Center and to advance the legacy of Justice Jackson, an opportunity to create events, programs which would help our community and to help the Jackson Center preserve the legacy. And one of those things we were doing was to inviting those folks who had an opportunity, who had known him during his lifetime. We had a clerks event. The first time we did this, we had the law clerks of the 1940s. John would artfully interview those clerks who were of Jackson in the 1940s. In 2003, we had the clerks of the 1950s, and Barrett Prettyman Jr. joined us at that event. In 2004, he came back because he was part of the law clerks who were at Brown versus Board of Education, an amazing conference. And Barrett spoke with regards to the unpublished opinion of Robert Jackson on Brown versus Board, of which Barrett has an intimate part, of which Barrett also was very much portrayed in movies dealing with that subject, Separate but Equal. In 2006, the most nervous I had ever been in my life. I came to Washington, asked for an opportunity to go into the shrine, the memory shrine, which most of you had a chance to see. I sat there and trying to get up enough gumption to ask him to see if he would consider being on the board of this brand new organization, the Robert Jackson Center, and he agreed. I thought I'd fall through the floor. I don't think I've told you that, but it was an incredible moment where you felt that that was something that was worth your time. Lord knows, if you look at his resume, which is about 25 pages long, he's been on everything and done everything. But he decided he would join us to become part of us and gave the Robert Jackson Center instant credibility. Through this process, he, as a significant member of the Supreme Court Historical Society, was intimately involved in connecting the Robert Jackson Center with the Supreme Court Historical Society. So we've done events at the Supreme Court. We've done events in Washington with them. And that all would have never happened but for Barrett Prettyman. He's not just a board member where we put a name on his on our letterhead. He's involved, intimately involved. The board, Lord knows, when we get into wordsmithing of documents, step aside. He's got the red pen out there all the time. And he's spoken at Chautauqua. He's given us credibility at that opportunity. And most recently, we had a chance, even though he could not have attended, where John Barrett and various Solicitor Generals were at New York City in an event which we were part of at the Robert Jackson Center. We passed out an article that he had written for the Supreme Court Historical Society on Robert H. Jackson as Solicitor General, which was distributed to 450 folks, which you continue to share. And of course, the biggest card we played, and it played out today, is 6 years ago when, in fact, I had the opportunity to make my first ask of Chief Justice Roberts to see if he would consider coming to Jamestown. Item 2, I saw the letter the other day, was the fact of the relationship that you had, Barrett, with him as his mentor here at Hogan and Hartson, and the fact that you were on our board, and it would be great if you could join us as in support of the Robert Jackson Center. What you're going to see in just a minute is a little bit of a film clip. This is a little bit of a prelude of something that occurred over the last couple of years. And I probably won't explain it because I will just show it. But we had this incredible moment in time, and perhaps my personal highlight was when Chief Justice Roberts came to the Jackson Center May 16th of this past year. They'd asked us, the Chief Justice's office, what would you like him to do? My first reaction was, just if he'd say a few words, breathe, that'd be great. You know, we're just delighted to see him. But then I came back and asked him, the staffer, if they might consider a moment where I would interview the Chief Justice and Barrett Prettyman, his mentor, about their life here at Hogan and Hartson. Wonderfully and surprisingly, he agreed. And that was a real moment in time, and a moment in time which permitted a unique opportunity for the Jackson Center to have the Chief Justice there, to have the Chief Justice come and certainly talk about you, Barrett.
In the center of a well-rested Justice Robert H. Jackson with the members of the University of Virginia Law School Legal Forum. The date is October of 1951. Modestly, standing off to the far left as we look at it, is Barrett Prettyman, who in fact was Jackson's host. And Jackson inscribed this picture later when Barrett was his law clerk. He wrote, "Robert H. Jackson, in memory of a happy experience and with high regard and good wishes for my sponsor, E. Barrett Prettyman, Jr." It's framed with a letter dated December 31, 1952, signed by Barrett Prettyman, which is his acceptance of the clerkship offer for Justice Jackson. Obviously, much transpired in between the 1951 evening and the 1952 offer and acceptance, but they're deeply related, and it seemed an appropriate thing to frame and to present to Mr. Prettyman. Another one. So you got more news. It's the holiday season. It's a big pile of presents.
We're going to have to give you another office so you have more.
Stay in the office.
Well, Barrett, if you recall, the closing scene on the video that just shown was you, of course, shaking hands with Justice Roberts at the end of that interview. I do apologize. It does not have an autograph on it, and I do apologize for that. But we do hope that you can add this to your collection that you have.
Oh, yes, I will. Thank you so
Before I turn it back over to Greg, I would just like to say a few words. As I kind of look around this room, and as the president of the Robert H. Jackson Center, in a way I kind of feel like the odd man out, because I look around this room and at Barrett and everybody that's here, and I see such a wonderful side of Justice Jackson's domestic life and his Supreme Court life. And of course, I represent the other side of Justice Jackson's life, a side that we haven't necessarily talked about here tonight, but that's his side on the International Tribunal. But I would just like to say that on behalf of the staff of the Jackson Center, Deb Pecos, Kathy Tucker, Of course, we have Teresa Nelson, we have Jen Champ, and I can't forget Rich Fisher. But from the staff of the Jackson Center, I would like to extend our appreciation for everyone coming tonight. I would like to extend our appreciation to Hogan Lovells for hosting us here tonight. It has truly been a wonderful evening. And of course, our appreciation to Barrett Prettyman Jr. for everything that he has done for us. And Greg?
I don't know if there's any particular closure other than to say that while we've been speaking, when you drive down, you'll see what used to be the E. Barrett Prettyman Courthouse is now the E. Barrett Prettyman Jr. Courthouse. The scaffolds are up and it's work. We're working it. That's our final gift to you. Anyways, thanks everybody for coming in, and I know many of you had to come dealing with the weather aspect of it, but to have an opportunity to be with an E. Barrett Prettyman Jr., to thank him for all he's meant to many, many people, but certainly the Robert Jackson Center, it's been special. And Barrett, love you. Thank you.